Hey, what? Hey guys, what is going on? Welcome back to Mafia Use there in the chat, which is good because we'll be taking a look at your stuff here in just a moment. So I'm glad you're able to catch it live. I was about to ping you on Discord if you weren't here already, but all right, good. And Justin Thunder Liger as well, catching one early. I'm cool with this. Nice, welcome. All right, guys, so we don't have a whole lot to go through here for today's Gunpla critique, so it will be a relatively short one. So before we get into that, just a reminder kind of that I've got some Gundam Converge stuff here to get to here later today that I'm very much looking forward to. It's been a while since I've cracked any Gundam Converge stuff, and got set 27 here I'm going to be working on. Along with something else, which you can actually see there in the background, barely, but if you guys can make that out, that is, in fact, the Fenrir kit finally is here and ready for review. After a little bit of a mishap with that kit, I had the unboxing video out, and then people have been asking, where's the review? Where's the review? It's finally coming, so that'll be coming out very soon for you guys as well. But for today's live stream here, we're just basically going to be taking a look at some works by Mafia, who's there joining us live in the chat. But if you guys are watching later, it's fine too. But so if we're now in the 41st episode of Gunpla Critique, but if for whatever reason you haven't seen any of these episodes before and you don't know what it's all about, basically this is just a way for me to check out some either works in progress or completed works from my wonderful Patreon supporters. So if you guys are interested, of course, the link is in the video description. You can check that out. There are different rewards aside from being able to submit works for these critique live streams. You can also join the Discord, which is a cool place to hang out there as well, and just support me. And I'm very appreciative of everyone there. So thank you guys all so much. It's a great community there, and I'm very thankful for all of you. So yeah, like I said, for today's video, we just have some works here from Mafia, and I think it'll be really interesting because they are all of the Gundam Assemble kits, which we've not taken a look at, I think, at all before in these critique videos for sure. And just with this being like fairly new kind of kits and just not really having a ton of coverage, they're just kind of fairly new. I think it'll certainly be something different to take a look at here for today's video. So I hope that you guys will appreciate that. Just going to be taking a look at some of these painted builds from Mafia and talking about them a little bit. And yeah, that's kind of about it. So everybody up to speed on what's going on so far. Let's get into it. So as I understand it, I was kind of looking through their emails, and some of these are not finished. Some of them are. Let me just kind of double check just to remind myself. I think it was that the kind of more glossy, shiny ones are ones that are still like awaiting top coat and maybe like finishing touches and stuff like that. I know there's some, which one was it that was mentioned that is still waiting for airbrushing? I think this one of the red Gundam is still awaiting. So these are hand painted, but then they used airbrush for like the beam saber effect part, which you can see here on this Sword Strike Gundam, which is painted like with the Blitz color scheme, which is really cool. So some of these are like official color scheme, like the G-Fred here, and then some of them are like custom color schemes. It's like the Buster Gundam there's original color scheme. This one's like a custom color scheme here on this one, which I think is really cool. Actually, looking at this, I didn't even recognize at first that it was the Strike Gundam, and then I was kind of reading like the notes about it, and he said something about like the Blitz Sword Strike, and I thought, wait, is a Blitz Sword Strike a thing? But yes, basically it's just like a combination of the Blitz colors, or yeah, the Blitz Gundam color scheme on the Sword Strike here. So let me see here. The glossier pics with the shade and the matte looking one. Current progress of re-highlighting it. Okay, of the G self, not the G self, the G quacks. Yeah, that's it. This one is still in the works, I think. Is that right, Mafia? It's good that you're here live in the chat, and then if I have questions, I can check with you. Or I guess here it is. Maybe this is the finished photo. And this glossy one is when it was still in work in progress, where it looks like kind of all wet. But that's just from the shading. I'm going to guess like kind of like the panel lining. What do they call it? Nuln oil or whatever. I think that's what some people use. I don't know if that's what is used on this. I think in some of the pictures you can see like the paint bottles behind. It looks like these are all done with like AK acrylics. You can see there in the background. And maybe a mix of Citadel, so maybe a mix of other different things in there as well. Which one do you prefer, HGUC Kasi Gundam or the new Kasi Gundam? I mean, probably just the new one. I don't really care so much for the damaged shield. The new Gundam face for the new one, I think is kind of cool. There's not a whole lot of difference other than that, really. So just to kind of skim through these a minute, and then we'll kind of go back through and talk some more about them. But so we have the G-Quacks, this Zaku here, this is Zaku 2, which is the kind of standard Zaku 2, but custom painted in like kind of Shin Matsunaga colors there, or just kind of generally white. The shade is pretty much just a wash over the whole thing, color depending on the kit. Yeah, okay. That's kind of what I figured. I do really like these like kind of recolor ones. I think the just like custom color choices are nice. This one being colored after the origin version of the gun tank, and the same thing here for the gun cannon as well. I forget was it the Iron Cavalry, is that right, version of the gun cannon that had this kind of color scheme, the origin origin version. So I like those the recolors on those. You've got the RX-78-1 color scheme here on the RX-78-2, like the prototype Gundam color scheme on there. So that's pretty cool. And then like the Mercurius and V8 color schemes here on the Leos. I really like these Leo kits. I have very limited experience so far with the Gundam Assemble kits. If you guys saw my coverage from the Las Vegas Bandai Card Fest there, I talked about how I got a chance to like hand paint one a little bit there. And I've got a couple more here. Where did I put those? Oh, they're around somewhere. Anyway, I don't remember where I put that now. But yeah, I have the Zaku set. So, but I would like to get the set. I think it comes with like the Tall Geese and the Leos, right? The one Tall Geese and the two Leos. This is the one that I painted there. This one also in kind of a Shin Matsunaga color scheme there with the blue color markings there. Definitely Shin Matsunaga colors. But yeah, the Leos here painted in Mercurius and V8 colors are pretty cool. Would be kind of cool to just like scratch build like the, what are they called, planet defensors for the Mercurius, which would just be like little kind of plastic circles. You could probably just use like little like detail parts, something like this. See, this is my detail parts box. Whoa. Where is it? I've got so many like crammed in here. It's kind of hard to find sometimes. But yeah, basically something like this. Let me put myself on full screen. Here we go. Like that, just kind of using some of these little small, like little circular parts there, something like that. Gluing a few of those together with just like kind of a line of kind of a 1x1, well, I mean by 1 millimeter by 1 millimeter rod of plot plate kind of behind them, just to kind of hold them together or something, and just like make a set of planet defensors for this would be kind of cool. I think so. I'm not gonna be able to get that back in here. I said they're kind of packed in there pretty tight. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, I had one Shin and one Uma Lightning and one White Ogre Zaku. Okay, so yeah, the all white one's the White Ogre one, right? This one here. Right. Yeah, I guess that's true. That's not Shin Matsunaga colors because it has the black knees. I don't think there's a Shin Matsunaga one that has black knees, and then they all have like a blue highlight on there as well. And then this is the Uma Lightning one. You guys know I'm a big fan of the Uma Lightning color scheme, which is another thing that you can probably barely see, but it's right there. I can't point to it. in the background of my videos, my kind of destroyed Uma Lightning colored high mobility type Zaku 2 kit from a few years ago, that custom project. Yeah, I think if I could make a suggestion for another future Zaku color scheme, may I humbly suggest the Gabby Hazard color scheme. I think it's another cool color scheme. The brown and black is quite unique, I think. I like that. Like someone's leaving something for me outside my door. All right, we got that. We got the not the G-Fred, the G-Fred's here. That's there as well. The Red Gundam. Yes, here. And what else do we have? I think just the seed ones we saw here, the Buster Gundam, the Blitz colored Sword Strike, and the Ale Striker, right? Is that what it's called when it's on its own? Here's the Talgeese from the set with the Leos painted in Epyon colors, which is pretty cool. Like that. And I think that's it. So, yes. Oh, you can't see the pictures, right? Sorry. Oops, sorry. Okay. Yes. So as I was saying, here's the Epyon colored Talgeese there. And yeah, the L strike unit. I feel like that's not right. What is it called? You guys are critiquing me now. Yes. You got that. And then, yeah, as I was saying, the ones we saw before, the Blitz colored Sword Strike, the Buster Gundam, G-Fred, the Red Gundam, and yeah, the Uma Lightning. So I like these a lot. Sky Grasper, that's what it is. That's why I was evading me. Sky Grasper with the Ale Striker. There you go. I couldn't think of the name of the plane part. Okay. Anyway, yeah. So these all, like I said, I like the custom color scheme ones the best. I feel like the G-Quox ones just must have been probably the most challenging to paint, I would imagine, just because they have all these little color apps. And I mean, and even then, I can see like, obviously, you didn't like paint like all the tiny little details of color, which there are a lot. Which this one, I mean, like there's quite a lot on there, and you guys can see like all the little bits of color here and there. I mean, even at HG and like 144 scale, it's challenging, but these kits are tiny. So I mean, like it's just like a little too much detail painting required for this scale for those kits. So like, actually I was kind of surprised. I guess like not necessarily surprised that they made G-Quox kits in the Gundam Assemble line, just because it's a recent series and popular and all that, so it makes sense. But on the other hand, it's so much like detail and tiny little color apps packed into like a tiny little kit that they're definitely going to be the most challenging ones to paint. Not like something like a Zaku like this. I mean, they're basically like big blocks of color. It's still a small kit, but you know, it's not as much like little tiny details to paint as like the G-Quox series stuff. I'm talking G-Quox as in the series. Now I know that this is not the G-Quox Gundam, or was it ever confirmed that it was a Gundam? I guess it's a Gundam, right? It just always threw me off because Gundam is not in the name. And so I typically just kind of go off of like, if Gundam's in the name, then it's Gundam. If not, I don't know. Yeah, there is membership now here on YouTube as well. I kind of haven't like mentioned it really or talked much about it yet, just because I haven't like really kind of sorted out that yet. It exists here on YouTube, but if you're interested in supporting, I mean, I think Patreon's probably right now just kind of like the best way to do that, until I kind of really sort out more kind of better how to use it on YouTube. Anyway, just been very busy lately, which is kind of the norm. But yeah, so yeah, can definitely see how these are challenging. I really like this with the Sword Strike, the use of the airbrush here to highlight the glowing beam there. I think that works really well there for the beam effect on the sword. That looks nice. Otherwise, yeah, I mean, there's not a ton that I can really say critique on these. I do like this one, which I think is a little bit different from the other ones in that this one has a little bit more of like that edge, like highlighting, which I don't see on some of the other ones. So it seems like there's a little bit kind of different painting style done on some of these. They're not all done with like one same uniform painting style. It seems like this one I can see what looks like maybe a little bit of like the edges highlighted on there, but I'm not sure if that's like something that is intentional or just like kind of a byproduct of just like the painting. It could just be that for this one in particular, it could just be like the black paint just kind of it kind of pulls away from the edges a little bit and just kind of creates that look naturally, which you can kind of use to your advantage. But so I'm not sure like if that's like an intentional effect or not. And like on this one, you can see like I think there's some like tonal gradation going on in there, but anyway, it's not done in like the same style as like this kind of much like stronger like kind of edge painting here on like the Buster Gundam. But I do kind of like this particular style on these kids. Kids. I think it looks good. It just kind of helps to bring out the features a bit more. Whereas you have like some of the other ones, you can see like a little bit of the shading here on this one as well too. But some of like the details do get kind of lost, get like a little muddled if those aren't like kind of like brought out more, kind of emphasized more. Like shading and highlighting is something that I know is like quite important for minis in particular, just because just to get it to look anywhere near kind of realistic, you kind of really have to emphasize that. It's kind of like that joke of like when you're on TV, you have to like over exaggerate your kind of expressions because it seems like too much in the process, but like then it comes across as normal kind of thing, right? So I think the same thing kind of applies for these kits and just kind of mini painting in general, which I'm certainly no expert in by any means, but just of like what little bit I know about it. And that's why you see a lot of like miniature painting, they're really kind of talking a lot about the highlighting, shading, and doing all that. All the seed kits have the edge highlighting. Okay, yeah. So I mean, otherwise, when you're just painting like the kits and just kind of, if you're painting it in like just kind of this similar like typical way that you would normally paint any kind of Gunpla, an HG or MG or whatever, it's not going to kind of look the same at that scale. So you can, but it's going to look different. So I mean, kind of depending on the look that you want, you kind of have to lean more into some of the miniature painting techniques. And from what I can tell, Mafia, you can tell me if there is any modification at all to any of these, really. I don't know, like something like drilling out the barrel on the bazooka kind of would have been cool. Something like that. Or what was the other thing that I thought of looking at these? Well, I guess like what I've mentioned before about like the planet defensors here on the Leo. I know that you were saying that these are being painted for like a convention. So I mean, like if the point was just to kind of show off the kits, just kind of painted versions of the ensemble kits, not like customized, then I think, then I understand not wanting to customize them if it's like for a specific reason. I did drill the barrels on the wing kits. Oh yeah, these guys. Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, I see. There, and this one, yeah. So that definitely helps. And then I would imagine on the tall geese as well, which is out of frame, but yeah, if that's drilled out there as well. I think the highlighting it are just kind of I'm not sure exactly what process was used on this. Some kind of like anyway, whatever is bringing out the highlighting and shading here on like the crest on the shield in particular looks really nice because it's like a really nice like kind of just raised detail. So that looks really cool. I would also experiment too, maybe a little bit with like using the airbrush. I know it's like really fine. You're talking like a tiny little space, but using the airbrush to highlight maybe like around the eyes in particular, like maybe on one of the Zakus or something, like having a little bit of glow kind of around here. Especially like you could mask, I'm reaching up to touch it. You could mask off like mask the top of the head, and then like just spray just a tiny bit, so it's like you only get some of that glow like just down here, like below that part. I think would look pretty cool, something like that. It's kind of harder to show like on white. I mean, like it'll show up, but it doesn't like look as like dramatic as if it's on like a kind of like a darker color, right? We could do something similar here, like with this too. Have like the glow from the eye, like kind of on the side of the like bazooka weapon there, something like that. Could look kind of cool. Something that takes a careful hand to like get the subtlety of that right, and then even like the glowing of the heat hawk too. Something, but I mean, something to look into, like maybe trying or practicing on like future releases, something. Yeah, miniature painting is like a whole other world with all these different other paints and well, yeah, paints themselves and techniques and things like that you can do. Heat Hawk from the G-Quox had a lot of filler plastics, so I had to cut out the middle. Let's see. Oh, yes, I think you're talking about. Yeah, you guys can see here, this part, that part. If I remember correctly, I think what you're saying is that part was all filled in, and you had to cut that out. So basically, it's just kind of like just like a flat like section there of plastic in between there. So yeah, I've seen people do that as well for the Zaku kits, for yeah, really kind of any of these. But like you can see they have the same thing here on like the piping on the side of the legs. What's kind of the best picture to show that? Can you see? Can you guys see that? Like the piping there, and then there's just like a flat bit of plastic kind of in between there. So I've seen people do that too, where they'll cut that little bit out. It's a very small, tiny little section to do. It definitely looks better if you do it. But it's a challenging bit to get rid of. You can't really see it so much in any of these photos, but I know that exists there on the Zaku's as well. You can see like a little bit of that even like here on like the underside of the head. Might be kind of cool to like rather than like trying to cut that out, but just like scribing that little bit here just so that at least it's like deeper, the kind of where it's meant to be like an empty space between the head and the piping. Something to think about, kind of as like a kind of note to myself, really, just kind of for because I have this kit, but I don't have it painted at all or anything. So something I might look into for myself, because you can see it like here on this one too. You just get like this kind of flat plastic space where it's meant to just be like a gap. I think scribing that would be kind of a good way to just kind of define that area a little bit more. It's too, yeah, I get it. It's a very small area. Fortunately, the Zaku's Heat Hawk doesn't have the plastic molded in there. It's empty. But yeah, it's a shame that the G-Quox's one does have that. But good on you for getting rid of that, because it definitely looks a lot better without that, for sure. It would have looked, not that necessarily would have looked bad, but it definitely looks way better without that. So yeah, I mean, the only other thing I could say is that I mean, it would be nice maybe if some of the like panel lining was like a bit crisper, a bit cleaner too, but then that just requires like some really teeny tiny careful like rescribing out of some of these little details. I mean, like if that's like, it just kind of depends on if that's how like committed you want to be to like to how clean you want it, because you might not want like a super clean look, but these look to be like they're not really necessarily meant to be like weathered necessarily. And it's not that they look weathered, but I mean, if you want to like really kind of go for like a super crisp clean look, maybe trying to rescribe some of the like little details and things might be a cool idea to do. And then maybe decals. I know decals in this size and this scale are like very few and far between, and like they just kind of don't really exist. But if you could find anything that works, might be kind of cool. But yeah, I know it's kind of like, it's just kind of like impossible, because basically even like the smallest little caution marking would basically take up this whole shoulder section right there. So kind of impossible. Although something that might be kind of cool to look into, I've seen people do this, and I don't know what it's called. Someone can maybe help me out in the chat. I've seen people use these where it's just like a metal sheet with like decals, like the decal designs, just kind of, what do you call it, etched in the metal sheet, and basically the idea is you're just supposed to like put some paint in that, like scrape away the excess, then you use like a soft rubber, basically a tamping a printing stamping plates. Yeah, like a stamp. It's like a soft rubber stamp to like basically press it to pick up essentially the painted detail of the logo you want to make, and then you just press it onto the kit. It's something that my wife actually does for nail art. And so I've seen her do it, and then I've seen like miniature painters do it for like decal, not exactly decals, but like for emblems on their miniatures, like Warhammer and stuff like that too. So that could work for something like this. I mean, it's kind of difficult because again, you have like very small spaces to work on of like flat space. Kind of depending on the kits, you might have more on like on a Zaku's shield, for example, something like that. But even like any of these, like you have very little space to work with for decals really on these. Alternatively, you could just try hand painting and just like a very tiny little bit of white paint just to kind of look like it. Obviously won't read as anything, but it just kind of gives the appearance of what looks kind of like a decal on there. Could be something interesting to try. If you've seen like those people that like hand paint their decals, it's crazy. But yeah, just something to think about for future designs. Also, it could be cool. Did you use, it's kind of hard for me to see, but did you use, I know you've used that clear resin before for your G-Quox Gelgoog, wasn't it? Wasn't that you that did that? For the eye visor for the G-Quox Gelgoog kit? That would be kind of cool to use like for like the eye here too, like on the Leos, just because it's like quite a large like kind of sensor unit there. And then maybe even for the weapons as well. Just like a drop of that on there, just to give you like a cool little like a clear lens piece, basically using that clear resin. Would be pretty nice, I think. I wonder how that would work even on like the beam effect. Just use gloss coat for lenses. Yeah. Yeah, just like a drop of gloss coat too will kind of have a similar effect, but I feel like it'd be a bit thicker, kind of more like lens looking if you use the clear resin. I wonder how that would look on like the heat hawk here too. If you were to basically like file down the heat hawk to make it like really thin, and then put a layer of like clear resin on top of that, so that you get like basically like a layer of clear on top of it, and then painted it with like a clear like clear orange kind of gradient, something like that. It would look pretty cool. All right, works pretty good in person. So yeah, anyway, there's some just some thoughts and ideas there about those. Thanks for sharing. Oh, actually, the shield of the G-Quox would be a good spot for decal, because it's kind of a fairly large, relatively speaking, fairly open space there for something. If you could find like one of those stamping plates, yeah, with a design that kind of fit for that. So anyway, yeah, that's all we have for today. Just taking a look at those. So thank you, as always, to Matthew for submitting some works for us to check out. And yeah, that's it. So it's gonna be a fairly short episode for today. But again, if anybody's interested in joining, can check out the link to Patreon for more info on that. Try to do these episodes about once a month. I know it's been a little while, and I'm not super good at it, but about once a month. Try to get these in just to be able to take a look at everybody's works, see what people are working on. But people also share their stuff just kind of in the Discord as well there for Patreon. That's it. That's the stream. Yes, that's it for the stream today. Actually, if you guys had forgotten or were not aware or hadn't heard, tomorrow I'm heading off to MomoCon to represent USA Gundam Store, who is sponsoring the Build Shop and the Build Shop custom contest there at MomoCon. So tomorrow I'm heading off to MomoCon, and so today I've got a lot of other stuff I'm going to try to get through before the end of the day here. So kind of worked out that we didn't have a whole lot of submissions for this critique episode, just because I got a lot of stuff that I'm trying to get done here today. But yeah, that's it for this one. So again, thanks Matthew, thanks all you guys for hanging out here. Hope you enjoyed taking a look at some cool Gundam assembled painted kits here. Any idea of resources for hand painting Gunpla? Yeah, there's a lot of resources. It really just kind of depends on what like type of what what type of paint you want to use, what like painting style you want to do. Look up basically videos on just like hand painting, like Warhammer and minis and stuff like that. Alternatively, if you wanted kind of a more like a weathered sort of like kind of machining Krieger kind of style, if you know what that is, you could look up just some videos about like painting machining Krieger stuff, or just generally like how to paint Gunpla. A lot of people hand painting will typically use acrylic paint, although just again, kind of depending on the style, you might use lacquers if you were going in kind of the direction of more like kind of machining Krieger, like I'm saying. So just kind of depends on what you're looking for. But yeah, any particular resources, like I said, just kind of depends. But you can feel free to message me on like Instagram or something like that, and I can tell you kind of more precisely, maybe if you let me know kind of maybe the style that you're looking to go for. But yeah, that's it for today, guys. Thanks so much for hanging out. I'll either be here on my channel or probably try both, live streaming over the weekend from MomoCon as well. So just make sure that you guys are also subscribed over there on the USA Gundam TV channel as well, and just so you don't miss that. And then just like other videos and stuff that happen over there too. It's just a good place to be subscribed as well. And yeah, see you guys later. Bye bye.